Good morning, the Daily Echo. It is June 29th, Sunday, spectacular Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Got home a little late, that's why got little bags under my eyes. Congratulations, Denver and Taylor. Great wedding, great ceremony, great to be with family. I want to talk a little bit about something I was reading in one of my favorite books, Aspire. I like to read little notes out of different books every day. I want to talk to you a little bit about Dr. Gerald Bell. And I don't know if any of you know who he was, but he was a professor at the North Carolina University. And back in the day when Michael Jordan played, he was one of Dean Smith's sort of consultants, and he really helped prepare that team mentally that went on to win the national championship. And he did things like put pictures of the stadium that the national championship would be played in all of the lockers, and did a lot of things to help coach the mind of these players. And in fact, they did go on and win the national championship. Dr. Bell also conducted a survey with 4,000 of the top executives. These were retired men and women who were basically in their 70s. And he asked them a simple question. If they could live their lives over again, what would they do? And I think it's interesting that their number one answer was this. They said, I should have taken charge of my life and set my goals earlier. Life isn't practice, it's the real thing. And I thought a lot about that this morning. I read that about an hour ago, and I was going to sit down and do this. And I think a lot of us do set goals. I think a lot of us have set many goals in our lives. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't achieve those goals. And as we get older, we tend to say, what's the use? Why continue to set these goals? And if we don't have that direction in our life, how can we accomplish anything? He goes on to say that these executives talked about spending 1% of their day reflecting upon what they want in life and how they're achieving that. Now, what is 1% of a day? It's 15 minutes a day. How often are each of us contemplating how the day went, what adjustments we can make for tomorrow, and how we can better utilize our time tomorrow? I think it's really interesting, a head football coach of a professional football team, he'll spend hours planning for the game on Sunday. And most of the time in our lives, we don't spend any time planning the most important events of our lives. And we just sort of live and we let day go by. And as we get older, we say, what's the use? I'm 45, I'm 50, I'm 55, I'm 60. And yet, this statement, I believe, is very powerful. I would have taken charge of my life and set goals earlier. Well, I don't care how old you are. There's no earlier than today. So think back on what you want to become, what you want to do, and start to take that 1% a day and reflect on that. As we talked about having two books, at the end of every day, evaluate where you're at, where you're going. Are you in the right jungle? We talked about, leaders out there hacking their way through the jungle. And they may not even be in the right jungle because they didn't get up on that ladder and look over the top and see where they're going. And making adjustments. I have a nephew who's a pilot. And pilots and airplanes know where they want to go. But there's adjustments made the whole time, or they could end up hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away. Are we making those adjustments every day? How do we even know if we're not spending that 15 minutes, 1% of our day, evaluating where we're at, where we're going, and making those adjustments? I know in my life I can do a much better job. It really hit me hard. Have a spectacular Sunday. Spend that time with your family. That's the most important thing you can do. We will be talking to you tomorrow. We're going to be bringing the book of the month out on Tuesday. And I want to talk a little bit about passion this week because I think that's the driver for these goals that we do. Have a great day.
You gotta live and learn. You gotta crash and burn. You gotta make some stances and take some chances. You gotta laugh